Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about how to use our laser with ImagePrint Black UV. And the importance of this is how we can integrate both print and cut using our laser, just like a traditional print and cut workflow, but with all of the contouring and layout being done inside ImagePrint UV. This is a huge time saver and gives you all sorts of flexibility in production. So let's take a look at that. I'm just going to throw in a sort of a traditional layout. This is something that many people have to do now if they're using a laser. They have to do all of their layout and place their registration marks inside of either CorelDRAW or Adobe Illustrator. And the problem with that is when we get into layered printing, say we want to build texture with this image, it's going to be a hat patch. It creates complexity because now instead of having one image that we're going to generate the texture off, we have a layout that's got many images in and at a smaller resolution, and we have to consider that whole page as we do texture. And it makes it a challenge to the engine in generating that texture because instead of looking at a single image, we're looking at a whole page of images. So what I'm going to show you today is how we've integrated the print and cut workflow into ImagePrint. So I'm going to get rid of that, and let's just bring in a single image. So now I have this image on the layout window. And let's say the first thing I'm going to do is go and turn on my cutting. So I'm going to go to my advanced cut settings and I'm just going to turn on cut it out. Now, if I look at my gear symbol here, you can see that I'm set to create a laser PDF file and I've set a destination for that file. So I've turned my cut engine on and you can see that we now have a protected area outside the layout window. And the layout represents my entire bed currently. And I have my image inside of it, and you can see the border has turned to purple. So that's automatically applied a cut border, even though ultimately I'm not going to use that border. I'm going to go now, right mouse click, and say contouring, and we're going to jump into my contour menu. And I'm going to look at a higher detail, and you can see it put the cut contour around the bass. And I'm going to suck that in a little bit with a negative offset. Get that really nice and tight for my laser. And I can see that, and I can zoom in on it if I need to look at where that cut contour is. You can see the purple line going around the bass. Zoom back out, and I'm happy with that. I'm going to say apply. Now that cut contour has become part of that image, so I can still size this any way I want to, and that cut contour automatically sizes along with the image. So unlike if I did this layout in Illustrator and I had to have all my sizing predetermined of how I was going to print this, and how many would fit on the sheet and all of that, I don't have to worry about that here. I can make my contour, figure out my final sizing, and then when I'm ready, I can step and repeat that across the entire bed as many times as it can. So in the software will automatically, if I let go, it's going to snap to a full unit. So now I have an entire bed contoured and ready to go, but I'm not done yet because I still have to create a texture. So I'm going to right mouse click again and go into my AI depth map to build that texture. We'll wait for it to come up here. All right, so now I have my texture. I've dropped out the background using my alpha channel. And I have my settings at full. I'm happy with the texture. I'm going to say apply. Now that texture is applied to all of these images on the page, right? Because I did a step and repeat. All I had to do is texture the first one, and it knows to apply that to everyone. So I'll go into my composite settings. I got my emboss layer put in place here. All I have to do is tell it how high I want it. I'll drop that down to 32 passes, which is going to be, just 0.68 millimeters, so just a tad bit under 0.7. I have my color layer, but I also want to add a white layer here. So I'll say add that white layer, move my color layer below it, set my white to alpha channel because I just want to put white on top of the build layer when I'm done, not over the entire area of the image. And then followed by my color layer, I say okay. Simple as that. I'm ready to hit print. Come in, I hit print, and that gets sent off to the printer, and it does its thing, and all of the cut data is now in my job. And we'll take a look at that in a minute. Now, one of the other things that gives you the flexibility, instead of having to go in and out of your design application to create new layout pages, let's just say I didn't need to print all of these, but I do have multiple jobs to print. And so I'm going to go ahead and say, I only need this many here, but I have another job to print, this one over here. And they need to be 4 inches. So I have 4 inches by 4 inches here. And I move this over. And again, I can do the same thing. Now I've already created a texture for this one, so I'm just going to go to my composite settings for this image and add an emboss layer. And I'm going to set the texture for that one that I've created right here and set how high I want it. So the last one I did, the fish I did at 32, I'm going to do this at 40. ImagePrint can mix and match different images on the page with different textures and different heights. It knows how to break it all down, do all the common elements together, and then move on to any unique elements after as it builds the entire page. Here again, I need to add a white channel, and we also want that to be using alpha. We get that set, hit OK, and now let's go in and contour this image. Now notice that it made contours internally as well here, which I'm going to exclude interiors. So now I just have my outside contour. I'm going to hit apply. So now that's contoured. And again, all I need to do is step and repeat that for how many I want. And say on this one, we'll go here. And now I have a new page. I'm maximizing my media. I'm maximizing my production time because instead of having to print 2 separate jobs, now I do this all at once. So I'm saving a significant amount of time, almost doing this in half of what it would take if you had to print both of these jobs separate and lay them out, create the layout pages with registration marks in Illustrator or CorelDRAW. So again, I'm ready to go here. I'm going to hit print, and that's going to go into the spooler and be printed, and all of my cut data is going to be along with that. Let's bring up our spooler. It's the icon in the upper right corner here. Click on that. Brings up the spooling system. We can see our 2 jobs in the bottom. Saved to queue. They've already been printed, and we can toggle between them and see the preview of each job. Now these jobs are coded red, and that means that they contain cut data. And when we want to generate that cut data to bring over to our laser software, we simply select the job we want, and we hit the scissor icon, and it's going to go ahead and generate that cut data, write it to the PDF file in the folder of your choosing. So after that data is written, we'll go take a look at it. and I have it written into a folder called PDF cut files. And I'm going to select the file we just wrote out, and you can see my PDF cut data is there. It's ready now to be brought into our laser software and ready to cut. It's got the registration marks on and all the positioning for the contours of each of those files. And it was as simple as that. Huge time saver. This is going to give you many minutes, even hours back in your production day, and allow you to maximize the use of your media, as well as combining jobs together in a single print job. Thanks for watching this, and we'll see you next time.